You're scrolling through Netflix. Again, 10,000 options, unlimited budget, CGI that looks photorealistic, 4K resolution, Dolby Atmos sound, every technological advantage. Nothing looks good. So you do what you always do. You rewatch The Office, or Breaking Bad, or Seinfeld, or whatever show from 10 to 20 years ago that you've already seen 3 times. And here's the thing. It's better. It holds up. It's more entertaining than 90% of what just came out this year. How is that possible? We have better technology, bigger budgets, more talented people, streaming services spending billions on content, and yet somehow, a sitcom from 2005 shot on standard definition is more watchable than a $200 million prestige drama from 2024. So how did we get here? That's what this channel is about. Hit subscribe. How did we get every technological improvement in filmmaking and somehow end up with worse content?
Let's start with the obvious answer everyone jumps to: nostalgia. You just think it's better because you watched it when you were younger, rose-colored glasses, nostalgia goggles. And sure, nostalgia is part of it, absolutely. The shows you watched at formative ages hit different because they're tied to memories and feelings from that time in your life. But that's not the whole story. Because people are discovering old shows for the first time now and still preferring them to new stuff, teenagers in 2024 are watching Friends for the first time, a show that ended 20 years ago, and loving it more than most current sitcoms. There's no nostalgia there, they're just responding to better writing. So what actually changed? Risk disappeared. That's the biggest one. In the 1990s and 2000s, shows took risks. They'd try weird concepts, cast unknown actors, let creators have full control. Not every show had to appeal to everyone. The Sopranos was a show about a murderous mob boss seeing a therapist. That's a weird pitch. HBO took the risk. It became one of the greatest shows ever made. Breaking Bad was about a chemistry teacher making meth. Nobody asked for that. AMC greenlit it anyway. Masterpiece. The Office was a mockumentary sitcom with no laugh track where the main character is intentionally unlikable and makes you cringe constantly. NBC almost canceled it multiple times. Now it's the most streamed show in history. Those shows got made because someone believed in the vision and took a risk. Now, everything is focus grouped to death. Test audiences, market research, algorithm predictions, committee decisions. Nobody wants to take a risk when they're spending $150 million on a season. So they make safe choices, proven formulas, familiar franchises. Which means everything feels the same. Competent, polished, professional, and completely forgettable. Shows used to have a point of view, a voice, a specific creator's vision stamped all over it. Vince Gilligan made Breaking Bad. His vision, his story, his pacing, his decisions. Now shows are made by committee. 10 producers, 15 writers, studio notes, network notes, streaming service notes. Everyone has input. Nobody's in charge. So the edges get sanded off. The weird parts get cut. The risky choices get vetoed. What's left is bland consensus content that offends nobody and excites nobody. And if you've ever binged a new show and immediately forgot what it was called a week later, hit that like button. It tells me you're seeing the same pattern. Technically perfect, emotionally empty content everywhere. Everything needs to be a franchise now. That's another killer. Studios don't want shows. They want universes, expanded worlds, spin-offs, prequels, sequels, merchandise opportunities. So instead of telling one good story, they set up 17 future stories. They drop hints, plant seeds, build mythology. The show you're watching isn't allowed to just be good on its own. It has to set up the next thing, and the thing after that, and the cinematic universe we're building for the next decade. Breaking Bad told one story. Beginning, middle, end. Complete, satisfying, done. If Breaking Bad launched today, it would be the Breaking Bad universe.
there'd be 3 spin-offs announced before season 1 finished. Half the episodes would be setting up other shows instead of telling their own story. Better Call Saul worked because it came after and it was its own thing. Now they'd plan the whole universe up front and ruin everything. The pacing changed too. Modern shows assume you have the attention span of a goldfish. They cut faster, action every 3 minutes, cliffhanger every episode. Something shocking has to happen constantly or you might click away. Old shows trusted you to pay attention. They'd let scenes breathe, let characters just talk for 5 minutes without explosions or plot twists. The Sopranos had entire episodes that were just characters sitting around talking, scenes that went nowhere, moments of silence. Modern shows can't do that. The algorithm says you'll get bored. So they cut, they rush, they cram. Everything moves too fast to land emotionally. Character development died. There's no time for it anymore. Walter White's transformation from teacher to drug lord took 5 seasons, 62 episodes. You watched him change gradually. You understood every step. Modern shows don't have that patience. Characters are fully formed in episode 1, or they change completely between episodes because the plot needs them to. There's no journey, just plot points, things happening to people instead of people changing because of things. The mystery box ruined everything too. Lost started this trend and now everyone's addicted to it. Every show has to have some big mystery, some unanswered question driving the plot. But half the time they don't know the answer either. They're making it up as they go. So you invest in the mystery, you theorize, you watch for seasons, and the answer is either disappointing or non-existent. Old shows just told stories. They weren't trying to break the internet with theories. They weren't optimizing for Reddit discussions. They trusted that good characters and good writing were enough. Usually, they were right. Algorithms killed creativity. Streaming services have data on everything. They know what you watch, when you watch it, when you pause, when you fast forward, when you stop watching. So they use that data to make shows. They create content designed to keep you watching, not content designed to be good. They engineer it. Optimal cliffhanger placement, optimal episode length, optimal shocking moment timing. It's scientifically designed to keep you hooked, but it's not designed to be meaningful or memorable or good. Old shows didn't have that data. Writers just wrote what they thought was interesting. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, but when it worked, it really worked. Binge-watching killed anticipation too. Remember when shows aired weekly? You'd watch an episode, talk about it for a week, theories, discussions, anticipation for next week. Breaking Bad's final season was a cultural event. Everyone watched it together week by week. The tension built, the conversations happened. Now you binge a whole season in a weekend and forget about it by Tuesday. There's no time to process, no space to discuss, just consume and move on to the next thing. Shows used to be cultural moments. Everyone watched the same things. You could reference them and everyone got it. Seinfeld, Friends, The Sopranos, The Office, Lost, Breaking Bad. These were events, shared experiences. Now content is so fragmented that nobody's watching the same things. You can't reference a show because half your friends haven't seen it. There are too many options, so nothing feels culturally significant anymore. Nothing becomes a phenomenon. It's just content in an infinite stream of content. The writing got worse too, ironically. Writers' rooms got bigger, more voices, more diversity of perspective, all good things in theory, but more writers also means more compromise. More voices means more notes. More perspectives means nothing can be too specific to one vision. Old shows often had small writing teams, sometimes just 1 or 2 people. The voice was consistent, the vision was clear. Now you've got 15 writers in a room and the script is the average of all their ideas, which means it's nobody's idea. CGI replaced practical effects, but it also replaced creativity. Old shows couldn't afford massive effects, so they got creative. They wrote around limitations. Those limitations forced better storytelling. Now they can CGI anything, so they do. The dragon looks incredible. The explosion is photorealistic. but the story is thin because they spent all their time on the effects. Practical effects from the 1980s and 90s still look better than a lot of modern CGI because they're real. They have weight. They exist in the space with the actors. Modern CGI is technically perfect, but emotionally empty, just like modern shows. Studios also stopped letting shows find their audience. Everything has to be a hit immediately or it gets canceled. The Office almost got canceled after season 1. Parks and Rec had a rough first season. Seinfeld took years to build an audience. None of those shows would survive today. They'd be canceled after 6 episodes. No time to grow. No patience for slow burns. So we only get shows that are instantly successful, which means we only get safe, familiar content, which means everything feels samey.
So how did we get here? Risk-taking died because failure became too expensive. Creative control moved from creators to committees. Algorithm-driven content replaced intuition. Franchise building replaced storytelling. Pacing accelerated to keep you from clicking away. Character development got sacrificed for plot. Mystery boxes replaced narratives. Binge-watching killed anticipation. Cultural fragmentation destroyed shared experiences. Writers' rooms got too big. CGI replaced creativity. Networks stopped being patient. We got every technological advantage and lost what actually mattered. Good writing, strong characters, clear vision, time to breathe. The equipment got better, the content got worse. Maybe the real question isn't how we got here. It's whether we'll ever get back to just telling good stories. If you've rewatched an old show recently and realized it's still better than most new stuff, hit that like and subscribe button. We're exposing every way progress made things worse while everyone pretended we were improving. And entertainment might be the clearest example of all.